Alright guys, so today, based off the title, we are going to be talking about this ultimate meal planning hack that I've been telling you guys about. And as you can tell, my background's a little different, so I'll explain more of that in a little bit. But first thing I wanted to talk about is how much meal planning sucks. Like, I know I'm always talking about meal planning in here, monthly meal planning, weekly meal planning, and all the things, but it can get really overwhelming and really annoying to have to do it every single week or every 3 days for some people, because I know some people that meal plan every 3 days. But to have to constantly think of different things and then have the battle with the kids and all the things. And so I was just, humbly ranting and raving to friends about how annoying meal planning is. And we came up with this amazing hack. In addition to all that, realizing that I'm raising adults that someday will need to have to plan meals for their families or for themselves, and having lacked that skill in myself as an adult, as a mom, having to learn all that, I figured, how can I incorporate my kiddos into this as well? Mostly because I have an 8-year-old who is obsessed with baking and cooking and all the things and being in the kitchen with me and stuff like that. I'm like, how can I give her more independence to take this off my back? So speaking with my friend Katie from Life in the Mundane, she was like, hey, why don't you just let her do it? Just let her plan the meals for the week. And the simplest, just mind explosion, and it has just completely changed things for us. All right, so I tried it and I had so much success. It was such a wonderful weight off my back to have her plan the meals. And then I'm like, why do I just have her plan the meals? All them kids can plan meals. And so I was telling Katie all about it, and she's like, oh my goodness, she needs to try this too. And so she tried it with her family, and it has worked great. So I wanted to have her come and join me today so that we can talk about how we've made it into our own, and how we, through trial and error, have really refined it and made it in a way that it can work for both families. It can work for multiple families, and all the tips and tricks in between. All right, because you know there wasn't gonna be a video that he wasn't gonna make it.
It's okay, people love him.
I'm telling you, he was asleep until we hit record, right, baby? Yeah. He's got to be a part.
So Wendy tells me about this amazing meal plan, and I think it's brilliant. And I'm like, why have I never thought of this before? So I started with my oldest daughter, and she of course loved it. And immediately all of my other kids are like, when is it my week to plan? And what we found is that, one, the kids took more ownership over that week. They were more helpful in the kitchen. They were more, they just were more involved in the whole process. And there was way less complaining, because when there was a meal that somebody didn't like, inevitably, because it always happens, they were like, it's okay, on my week, I'm going to plan X, Y, Z. Did that happen at your house too?
Yes.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's cool, because at some point I'm going to get to have the control.
Yep. On my week, I'm going to make it so that one day there's going to be something that you don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we dealt with all that. And I love the excitement over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since there was that much excitement around meals in my house. And they will experiment and try new things because of the fact that it's them who made it.
Yeah.
And even because along the way we've gotten to the point, first it was just, okay, what 7 breakfasts do you want? What 7 lunches do you want? What 7 dinners do you want? Then it developed into having them join me in the kitchen to create the things that they wanted. And so now they eat in the vegetables because they're the ones that cooked it and different things like that. So,
and I think one thing that was really neat to see kind of the process of it all is initially it was like, okay, what do I want? What do I want to pick?
Yeah.
But eventually I started seeing my kids starting to think about, because then they took it a little more personally. Like when their sibling was like, oh, cheese quesadillas for lunch? I really don't like cheese quesadillas. And all of a sudden they were like, oh, I feel kind of bad for that.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage a healthy balance of like, it's okay, not everybody's gonna like everything, and we still need to be respectful, right?
Yep.
But also, I started to see the kids go like, oh, I can kind of see why mom doesn't just plan. I have a daughter who hates beans. If there's beans in it, like it's like a sensory thing. It's not just like a pickiness thing. And so she like gags over it, and it's awful. And so I started to see my son go, okay, I really want red beans and rice, but I know that my sister really doesn't like red beans. So I'm gonna plan that for the end of the week, and I'm gonna make sure I don't plan any other meals that week that she doesn't like. So he started thinking about that and seeing all of the siblings start to be like, okay, well, I know so-and-so doesn't like sandwiches, so I'm only gonna put it on there one time. And I think not only did it show an opportunity for them to be compassionate towards others,
Yes.
it also, I think, helped them to see a little bit of my struggle.
Yeah.
Of like,
my goodness.
like I can plan meals, guys. This is not a problem, but when I have to plan meals with like 8 different people's palates in mind, it's a little crazy.
Yeah. This is one of the things that like I was like, along with just being compassionate towards others, they became more compassionate towards me, you know, because they'll help me clean the house and they'll help me do different things around the house, but they've never had to plan the meals. Like, so they don't understand the struggle of planning the meals. And so they're like, Mom, I still need another one. I need another meal for this, another meal for that. Oh my goodness, I forgot we were going out that day. Well, we can't eat that. We can't make that to eat in the car. Like, there's no way. Like, so they really realize the thought process that goes behind planning the meals and doing all the things. And so I do want to say, at least in our home, it's like I fully let them develop the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. And then we go back through and be like, all right, so pizza for breakfast.
Yes.
I see where you're going. Pizza for breakfast, pizza for lunch, and pizza for dinner. It's a thing. I see what you did here, but that's not gonna work.
So I discovered that quickly too. So I made this printable, and I'll give it to Wendy to put in the links down below if you guys want it. But I just have my kids at the top fill out their breakfast, their lunch, and their dinners for the week, but not according to the day. Then what we do at the bottom of that sheet is specific days of the week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so we talk through it. I'm like, this is a great idea. Okay, you know, maybe like with my 6-year-old, she picked for dinner chicken nuggets, pizza, hot dogs, what else? She picked chicken wraps. So there was one like semi-healthy thing, but she just picked like a lot of junk food. And so I was like, look, I don't mind. It's cool. We can have this special treat, but we probably shouldn't eat it every single night. And so with that, then we're able to talk through and plug it into different days and say, let's save that for Friday night or for Saturday night. And let's maybe pick something else here. So we're able to work through it and understand the process. And I walk, especially my older kids, through the process of we're going to be out that day.
Yes.
So which of these meals do you think would be best for we're going to be gone all day and come home right before dinner? And they're like, oh, maybe tacos, because we could put that in the crock pot. I'm like, yes, that's a great idea. So just kind of getting them used to that life skill is huge. So we do edit for sure, but we edit in such a way that's not like, oh, we veto that, but it's more like, let's talk through the process. What do we think? Do you think that this is enough vegetables? Like, we want to balance, you know, being healthy, giving them opportunities to make those decisions. And it's been a huge attitude change.
Yes. Especially when it comes to like, really, I was talking to Katie about that the other day, really going over like nutrition, like nutritious foods, and talking about not necessarily like, that's bad. That's bad food, this, that, and the other. But talking about go foods and slow foods, right? And just how different types of foods affect our body. And so if we're eating all junk, we're gonna be really slow this week. Do we want that? You know what I mean? And so we really have gone through with them and say, how can we balance our meal? How can we have a little treat, but also make sure that we're giving our body plenty of go foods and plenty
lots
of
fuel to keep up with the activities and the things.
So I mean, it has open up doors for conversations. And that is one thing that I really love about it. And as homeschooling moms, we're always looking for ways to educate. And so just being able to educate them when it comes to making healthy choices for themselves has been really, really good. And me, myself, when I was growing up, my mom let me do all of her bills for her. I think it wasn't to teach me. It's because she was a single mom. Okay, so she needed help.
I love the way you said that. I'll let you do my bills.
So she was a single mom.
Let your kids do their meal planning.
Yes. I let you do that. Don't worry. No, she needed help. And so she was like, Wendy, here's my income, do all the bills. And so when I became a mom, like one of the things that was very comfortable for me is finances. Like I could do it. I could balance the books. I could do all the things because I've been doing it since I was 12 years old. Yeah. And so I feel like you really set your kids up at a young age to be able to plan meals and do that for them, for their family and for themselves when they get older. So
the one question we haven't covered is, do you still plan any of the meals? Like, do you take a week in the rotation or not?
Okay, so that was the plan initially. So the plan initially was so I've got 3 older ones and have them do the meals, and then the last week I would do the meals. But what actually ended up happening was I had my younger, not him, my 3-year-old come alongside me. And so for the 4th meal, we planned together. Yeah. So it's kind of like a training her to be ready to do this, and also not 100% on me because I like the freedom. I really do. Oh, we forgot to tell them that we also allow them to go through the refrigerator, go through the pantry.
The older kids, not like the middle school, older elementary.
Kids, you'd fail at this. Yeah. But we allow them to go through and do all the things, and then add it onto the cart.
In our Walmart app.
On the Walmart app. Now, Katie does a special thing with them when it comes to budgeting.
Yes. So.
That when they add, you let them know what the budget is, and so they take that into consideration between buying the most expensive thing or buying
Okay, so I will kind of I'll have them add it to our Walmart app. That doesn't mean I'm going to buy it at Walmart, but I have them add it to the app because then I can easily see what we need. I will go through and I also check it because some people are like, well, then my kids will be putting all this ice cream and cookies and stuff like that. Yes. No, they know better. They know I'm going to check it afterwards. They only put on there what needs to be done. So I went through and I had them add those things to the list. I was able to let them know like what the budget is for that week or for that grocery shopping trip. We usually do like every 2 weeks, and then be like, okay, well, how are we doing with the budget? How do we need to consider? I also make my kids submit their lists like in advance. Yes. So we have a specific day of the week in advance that they need to submit it. And that way we can incorporate those into the budget as well. And I have had to veto things because of budget costs. Yes. I have not planned myself into a week, but there have been a few weeks where we've had some really funky situations. Like we've had people over. Yes. And we also had a birthday party. And I think, the kids were going to camp. Like there was multiple things all happening at one time. And I was like, you know what? I'll just take that week because there's enough things that are sort of special situations. But for the most part, the 6 of them go through the rotation. So I only end up planning every once in a while. And I find it so much easier as a mom.
Lucky dog.
I feel like it's easier as a mom. Like I don't mind cooking. It's truly the choices that stress me and overwhelm me. And so it's on my fridge. It's on my fridge. And I'm just like, oh, we're having chicken tonight. I'm just going to pull the chicken out. Like I don't have to think about it. And my kids don't come to me saying, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? Because they can just look on the list and see what's for dinner.
I love it.
Or their sibling will announce what's for dinner since they picked it. So that's our meal hack. Try it out. Let us know what you think. I promise it is life-changing, not just because it eases the burden. Yes. But also because it prepares and equips our kids.
Exactly.
It's a 2-for-1.
It's a twofer. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the description for the wonderful meal plan. It's simple, but it's like thorough that it really helps for you to break it down. Real quick, before we end it, what do you use the notes section for?
The note section is if there is anything like special event or circumstances that we need to incorporate. One time my son was like, hey, I know we don't typically do desserts, but I really would love banana pudding. Do you think we could do like banana pudding this week? And I was like, yes, just put it in the notes section. And then that way I can remember at some point this week, we're gonna do that. So whether it's that we need to remember to go purchase something because it's not on sale till like later in the week.
Yes.
I'll put a little note of that on there or have the kids do that.
Yes. And I think we mentioned it, but we do have our children go through the pantry, the fridge, and all the things and make sure that what we have, we're not ordering things that we already have.
Yes, exactly.
So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Say bye-bye. Yeah.
Smart.